Welcome to another Nonsense Wars production. Today we look at my 1:48 scale model of a 53-foot flat car. I based this design on a PRR F41, but it broadly represents the many similar flat cars built by other companies in the middle of the century. I intended to use this model as kind of a mobile display stand for static models like the old-time bus, though I really haven't made many of those over the years. Nonetheless, the car has some design features despite its apparent simplicity. Many American freight cars, especially more modern ones, have bodies that overhang the bogies. I usually consider these too distinctive to omit, but I often find them very difficult to model. Lego already makes the track too wide for 1:48 scale, which pushes the skirts out further than prototypical. Lego also makes the curves far too sharp for 1:48 scale, which pushes the skirts out even further, as the bogies turn more than prototypical and the flanges need more lateral clearance. This issue makes it practically impossible to build a lot of longer rolling stock, more than 50 to 60 prototypical feet for R40, at least without sacrificing this particular feature. The Trinity gondolas and this flat car probably push the limit, while the Conrail N6A caboose mitigates the problem with its short length and correspondingly smaller bogie traverse. The Trinity gondolas and this flat car share another issue: structural integrity. The construction of the body on the former prevents the tub from carrying any load, while the lack of body on the latter prevents anything from carrying any load. In both cases, the frame needs to provide structure and clear the flanges, and I actually implemented a solution on this car several years before repeating it on the gondola. The frames have enough room for layering reinforcement in the middle of the car, but they narrow to just one plate around the flanges. Small brackets provide the structure here, and they also transfer the load from the bed onto the bogies. I originally used these old, out-of-production hinge plates to support said brackets, but I recently realized that I could use a different, still-in-production hinge plate to the same effect. The wheels intersect this space in an R40 turn, so I can't fill it with a full plate. Even after all of this, the flanges can still scrub a little because the axles have some lateral play and the bed can flex ever so slightly when loaded. Of course, all these clearance problems basically go away if I stick to wider radii. At R104, I could probably get away with using a regular plate instead of that hinge plate, but I generally want to continue to support R40 with most things, at least for now. Now, here's a trick for loading the flat car. I originally crossed the chains due to their length, but this arrangement also gives more lateral stability because the angles increase that component of the tension force. Tying the chains straight down the sides disproportionately sacrifices lateral stability for a minor bump in longitudinal stability. I can also make small adjustments to the length of the chains by rotating the studs at the ends. Overall, I've been pretty happy with this model. I've had it for a long time and I run it a lot despite the lack of good loads. Unlike a lot of train builders, I generally prefer more modern freight stock, and I wish I could have built a newer, bigger flat car, but the F41 feels like a reasonable compromise between prototypical age and track compatibility. Anyway, please subscribe if you like what we do. I also have instructions for this on Rebrickable, and have a nice day.